I have read my fair share of mangas: Oshinoko, One Piece, Vinland Saga, Chainsaw Man. I've read a few, and for the most part, I enjoy what I have read. But when it comes to favorites, when it comes to naming my favorite manga that I've read, there is only one manga that fits the bill. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a manga written by Tsukasa Abe about an elf mage who was a part of a party of heroes that defeated the Demon King. The story begins where most stories would end, the heroes coming back from a triumphant victory against the Demon King. I first heard the manga from the Next Manga Wars back in 2021, and since then it has been my favorite manga. When I heard that an anime adaptation was coming, I was excited, but of course, at the same time, I was a bit scared because, like I said, this is my favorite manga, so there is some worry coming from that. However, after watching the first trailer, any doubts that I had were just gone because the trailer looked incredible, and I knew that Madhouse, the studio who are doing Frieren, would make this a really good adaptation. Now, with 4 episodes out at the time of me recording this, was my faith rewarded? The simple answer would be absolutely. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a shonen manga, but not in a traditional sense. It is more focused towards slice of life with some action here and there. Think of it similar to Mushoku Tensei, just with a lot, and I mean a lot, less perverted stuff. There were three key elements that I wanted them to nail. The first one is probably the most obvious one: the animation, the art style. Tsukasa Abe's art style, while not being the best in the medium, it does what it needs to do, which is suck me into this world. The art style was not only good, but it fits the theme, it fits the magical wonder of the manga. It gives off this fantasy element to it. It is obviously important for a fantasy manga and anime to capture this feeling. It is a big reason why I would argue that Mushoku Tensei, while has its problems, is the best fantasy manga that we have gotten in recent years. That's because it gives off that fantasy feeling. You're not watching an isekai when you're watching Mushoku Tensei. You're watching a fantasy with some isekai elements here and there. I wanted the Frieren anime to have that same feeling, to have that same feeling that Mushoku Tensei has, to have that same feeling that the manga has. And to put it bluntly, the anime does have that. It has that same effect. It has that same feeling that I got from the manga. An anime can have really, really beautiful artwork, but it doesn't really matter if it doesn't give me the vibe that the anime tries to project itself. It'd be a bit weird for Mushoku Tensei to have somewhat similar artwork to Cyberpunk. It just doesn't fit. At least in my opinion, it just doesn't fit. To be able to create not only beautiful artwork, but to create an art style that fits the vibe that I got from the manga is what the anime managed to do. It gives off the fantasy feel to it, something similar to Mushoku Tensei and Ranking of Kings. It feels like a fantasy anime, and it's something that the animators managed to capture, and it adds an extra layer to the anime, especially to some of the big emotional moments that happens throughout the anime. The second element was the music. The manga has a lot of emotional scenes, especially during the early stages, and so alongside beautiful artwork, obviously music accompanies these moments, and in order to make these moments hit harder, good music is obviously required. I've said this before, but I am not an OST guy. I don't know anything about OSTs. I don't know what makes a good OST. But I do know when a piece of music fits the atmosphere of the scene. And this anime, so far, the music has been incredible. It's doing that thing where they play a song, and before the scene has even begun, I just started tearing up or am on the verge of tearing up. It gives me the same feeling that shows like A Silent Voice or A Place Further Than the Universe gave me. Before a scene has even begun, I just started bawling my eyes out. And when the scene does begin, if I wasn't crying already, I would be crying by the end of it. Moving to the last key element, and of course, I am talking about the story, or more specifically, how they're going to adapt the story. The story, as I mentioned, is about an elf mage named Frieren and starts off with her and her party's return from defeating the Demon King. To everyone, it was 10 long years, a decade of them spending time with each other. To Frieren, however, it was just 10 years. To her, that time that they spent, that 10 long years, to her, it was such a minuscule amount of time. I mean, after all, she's an elf. What's 10 years for someone who has lived far, far longer than that? By the time Frieren meets her companions again, 50 years have passed. Everyone has changed. They've all aged. All of them. Except for Frieren, of course. When one of her companions passed, she began to realize something. She didn't know anything about them. More accurately, she didn't try to. Sure, to her, those 10 years might be such a small amount of time, but to humans, 10 years is such a long time. This resulted in her to have a change of heart, to get to know more people, to understand people better and make memories. That is the core message of the story. You can have 100 years to live or just 1 year to live. It doesn't matter. What matters is the memories and the friends you make along the way. And that might sound cheesy, but when you think about it, it's kind of true. Making those bonds, making those memories, something that you could look back on and reminisce. That is what I at least interpreted from the story. And it is a big reason as to why this is my favorite manga. Where was I again? Alright, adaptation. I know that the stuff that I've said about the manga so far might present it to be a sad and depressing manga, but it's not. It is sad, yes, but that's not what the manga is all about. The manga is about Frieren's journey with Fern along with others they meet along the way. Frieren wants to not only relive her past memories with her old companions, but she also wants to make new memories with Fern and her new companions. Something that they could look back on with joy, with happiness, something that they can be proud to be a part of. You are living this journey with Frieren and Fern, following their adventures and interactions along the journey. Seeing them picking up pumpkins, finding flowers, cleaning up the beach might sound very boring on paper, but when you understand what the story is trying to tell you, you start to appreciate all these slice of life elements a lot more. It is so easy for a studio to skip these slice of life elements. So it is really satisfying to see that they didn't do that they didn't choose to skip or fast forward some of these moments. The first 4 episodes cover entirely only the first volume, and if you ask me, it adapted the first volume incredibly well. That might change in the next few episodes. The anime might choose to skip some of these moments in the next few episodes, but so far, the anime is doing the manga justice. Choosing not to skip these small moments with the characters, I think, is a really good choice because that is what I believe this manga to be all about, to make memories with each other, to make memories with one another, to make memories with these characters. These small moments that we have with these characters matters just as much as those big moments. And some of those big moments, of course, include fight scenes, include some action. It wouldn't be a shonen fantasy anime without some sprinkling of action here and there. There's only one fight scene in this anime so far, but from that scene and from the stuff that I've seen from the trailers, the fights do look really good. It is important for me to point out that Frieren is an elf mage that has lived for thousands of years and is also part of a party that defeated the Demon King. What I'm trying to say is she's very, very strong. Not OP, but very, very strong. Considering this anime is done by Madhouse, who gave us this. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about the action. All in all, Frieren Beyond Journey's End is an anime that I highly recommend. As a big fan of the manga, I can genuinely say that this is so far a really good adaptation. And it brings me so much joy to see a piece of media that I love so much being adapted so well. Madhouse are doing whatever they can, giving this anime a lot of love, and I really appreciate them doing so. If they continue what they're doing with this anime, this will not only be the best anime of the season, this will be one of the best animes of the year, if not the best anime of the year. If you haven't given it a go yet, then I hope this video does convince you to at least give it a try. Frieren holds a very special place in my heart, and I just want more people to enjoy it as much as I do. Anyway guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.